Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Kay Kritiques, where we discuss all things South African television, and we are reviewing Youngins season 2 episode 1 to 3. Yes, we are back for season 2. The gang is back together again. It's a new term, it's a new season. So without any further ado, let us get into it. So just a quick recap. In the previous season, Principal Mthembu was caught and arrested. The gang managed to find the evidence and a witness to actually have him arrested. Amo and Mahlatsi got together. Then in the last episode, Khaya and Amo kissed, and Tumelo and Sefako are broken up. These 3 episodes were basically just introductory episodes, getting us back into the groove of things in light of what happened in the last season. The biggest question this season so far has been who will be the new principal, because now the other principal has been arrested. Who is going to take over? We also get some new faces. We got 2 new faces in this season, which is Utukulo and Lesedi. But for now, we're just gonna focus on Utukulo. Utukulo is basically a fan of the gang for what they did. He's very bubbly, very over the top. At first, his energy and his presence was just a little bit annoying to me. Who is this boy and why is he annoying us so much? The gang manages to welcome him. Mahlatsi and Amo are great. Everything is good. Mahlatsi is so in love and he's so oblivious because he still doesn't know what happened at the club. He doesn't know that Amo and Khaya kissed, or that Amo and Khaya even had anything going on where they were in a brief relationship, right? He buys her a present and I'm like, this is going to backfire. I have an inkling that Amo and Khaya will start sneaking around again, and I don't like that for Mahlatsi. Mahlatsi is a good guy and he doesn't deserve this. On this other hand, Buhle and Khaya are back to square one. They're hooking up and we find out that Khaya has been ghosting her. She's trying to reconnect, trying to bring back the spark, trying to make things work, but he doesn't want that because he wants to Amo. It's season 2 episode 1 and they're arguing, and this reminds me of exactly how season 1 episode 1 started. But in season 1 episode 1, it was, did you cheat on me or are you cheating on me? And Khaya was like, no, I'm not. In this season, why are you ghosting me? So it's gone from, are you cheating on me? Because they've always had a toxic relationship. Our second face was Lesedi. We find out that Lesedi is back from jail. He assaulted a teacher and everybody's scared of him. The security guards, the teachers, the matrons, everybody is scared of him because he nearly killed that teacher. So he used to be the one running the operation that Tsepo's now running, of selling the alcohol and stuff. And he starts bullying Utsepo. He's like, where did you get permission? Why are you taking over my operation? Beats him up and is like, you need to pay me this money, because obviously the security guard doesn't want to work with him anymore. And he wants to be back on top. When he left, he was high and almighty. He was like one of the kings. And now the only thing that's stopping him is our Olifants 5, which is what they have been coined. Our gang has been coined the Olifants 5. And they're now the ones on top. They're the ones who are famous, popular in school. We also get to see Sefako. Like I said, that in the last season, Sefako and Tumelo ended up breaking up because Sefako didn't want to take things seriously. And he was abusive towards Tumelo. Things ended very, very badly between them. So he's talking to Khaya because Khaya is the only person who knows that he's gay. And he's talking about missing Tumelo. He's going through heartbreak. He's like, I miss him. Is he okay? I don't want to go asking for love back and all of this. I'm not going to beg him. But at the same time, he does want Tumelo back. And on this other hand, Khaya talks about him wanting Amo. But now Sefako points out that this is Buhle's friend and Buhle's roommate. And another thing is, Khaya is still actively sleeping with Buhle while claiming that he wants to Amo. Khaya stresses me out, because how are you still sleeping with Buhle but claim that you want Amo? Make it make sense to me. Meanwhile, Mahlatsi and Amo are all lovey-dovey. Amo actually tells Mahlatsi, I love you. And I just know she's going to cheat. She tells Khaya that she wants nothing to do with him and that she loves Mahlatsi. But I know at some point she's going to fold because she's not setting a clear boundary. She keeps meandering around the point that she's trying to make. Like, I love Mahlatsi, I'm with him. Khaya, there's nothing to talk about. She's not saying stop your advances. She's saying we don't have anything to talk about. I'm with Mahlatsi now. She's not saying I don't want you. So then Khaya obviously is going to get that impression that with just a little bit of nudging, Amu's going to fold. So now the gang gets their recognition and they get medals for their achievement and the deed that they did, because this is a big thing. Exposing a principal who preys on young girls in the high school who is a pedophile is a big thing. It is a huge deal, and I'm glad that they got that recognition that they deserve. And our question of who the principal is has been answered. De Klerk is the new principal. Obviously, all the students are against it. They're like, oh my word, we're about to be in a prison. We don't want him as principal because he's a very, very strict teacher. Now, as principal, with all the power and all the leeway, he's going to be enforcing the rules, and he's going to be even more strict because Principal Mthembu was way more lenient than him. De Klerk doesn't care about none of that. Nobody stresses me like Amo goes to Alex and Upalisa and she's telling them, listen, I think I'm ready to actually lose my virginity. I just feel like she's 15, turning 16, or she's 16 years old, and I think you should take a little bit longer to actually start thinking about this. And I've been saying this since season 1. I just don't support the sexualization of teenagers. I just wish that we had that representation of you don't actually have to rush to have sex. You don't have to rush into doing something, especially for teenagers. Balisa and Alex, they don't trust that Mahlatsi is going to be able to do it. They're like, why don't you start with somebody else who has more experience, or why don't you start with the girl? We're going to teach you everything we know. And like, it's like the blind leading the blind, basically, because they're all kids. They're all the same age. Tsepo confesses to Mazambane that he's being bullied by Lesedi. Obviously, Mazambane has been acting like the big guy, and he goes to threaten him, but Lesedi beats him up, slaps him, and he falls flat on the floor, which was hilarious. Not that bullying is hilarious, and I really do hope that they handled this storyline with care, because Tsepo especially is such a comedic character that has been used for comedic relief, that at some points in time I just didn't like some of the jokes that he would make, especially against Tumelo in terms of homophobia and all this other stuff. But I really do hope that they handled this with care, because I don't want it to turn into a joke of a storyline, like bullying is such an intense and such a serious matter, especially in high school. So I really do hope that they handle the storyline with care, and that just because Tsepo and Mazambane, they're the class clowns and they've been the ones who have been making fun of other people, that now we have to feel like, oh, but they can handle it, or they deserve it, or something like that. You see, I want them to be able to handle this and execute the storyline very well, just to raise awareness that bullying is actually wrong. Lesedi beats them up and he's like, I want my money by the end of the day. Mazambane decides that he wants to go to the principal, but it backfires because Lesedi threatens them, and we have to remember that he almost unalived a teacher, and they back out. And I was actually shocked that Mazambane was the one who wanted to go to the principal, because that's some snitchy type of things. And I do like that they went to the principal. I just wish that they stood their ground once Lesedi walked into the principal's office, because this matter would have been resolved. Because if you stay in silence and you don't report it, then that silence gives your abuser or your bully more power, because nobody knows. When you start now backtracking, the next time you go to the principal's not going to believe you. Now, Tukulo is involved in the group. I feel like as the episodes went on and on, he got less and less annoying and he became more endearing. But I do wish that they worked a little bit more on his character development, especially in these episodes, because he just came out of nowhere We've never seen him, not even a glimpse of him in season 1, and now he's being thrust upon us, and his personality doesn't really gel well with the group for me. I found some of the jokes that he was making, or maybe some of the stuff that was supposed to be a bit funny, to fall a little bit flat for me. And we see Mahlatsi wants to start a gummy business because Mahlatsi was the one who was selling weed in the school. So now they go to his room. He wants to try out a recipe and actually test it, and they're cooking on the stove, and they all eat the gummies, but Mahlatsi doesn't turn the stove off, and that is going to be an important part of these 3 episodes. They are all just high. These gummies are strong, these gummies worked, but that stove was very, very close to the curtain. They're sitting all on the steps, and there's a comedic relief scene where Principal Ramotshela walks by, and we see Tukulu start panicking, and he's looking for his penis, and he's like, I'm gonna go back to my room to sleep. As soon as he leaves, Amo and Mahlatsi, they're like, we want our privacy. Tumelo leaves, he's like, oh, you guys are couples and I'm a spare wheel, so I'm gonna leave. Amo and Mahlatsi want their own privacy. Obviously, Khaya doesn't want that. Now we see a fire. Actually breaking out. It goes from being smoke to now fire, but then we pan back to Mahlatsi taking Amo to the cleaning supply closet. You've made the decision that you want to start having sex, and you want to do it with your boyfriend whom you love, who is Mahlatsi. But do you really want to do this in this dingy room? Why not take her back to your room, Mahlatsi? Maybe then you would have seen the fire and been able to put it out. Maybe that's what was building the plot, that they just go to this random supply closet, this cleaning supply closet that we've never seen ever before. We've never even seen mention of it. We see Khaya. Buhle is also trying to get something going back in the room, but Khaya is not feeling Buhle anymore, and I really do wish that Buhle was able to take a hint. He doesn't like you, he doesn't want you, and you need to stop forcing yourself onto him. Let him go at this point, girl. Now back to this fire. Amo smells the smoke, and they're busy with Mahlatsi in that supply closet, but Mahlatsi is horny behind. Once we notice, like, oh, it's probably somebody smoking. Now there's a full-blown fire. Everybody's outside, they're panicking. Khaya wants to go back inside. The entire domes are burning down, but he's looking for Amo. He wants to try and save her. Mtabane stops him, and I'm like, how are they continuing while they're burning? Like, it is really hot. And at this point, they're literally sweating. You can see them sweating on the screen. And I understand that they're also high, but Amo was able to smell the smoke. So why weren't they able to notice all this time? And how did the smoke and the fire get so wild and they didn't notice? Because it can't be that as soon as you open the door, there's this huge fire and you didn't notice it. And they were in a cleaning supply closet, so that's a lot of chemicals, so it could have been really dangerous for them. We see Tepo is also missing. Sifako is panicking, looking for Tepo because that's his brother, cousin. But Mahlatsi and Amo managed to make it out. They get her on an oxygen tank, but for me it's so unrealistic. Mahlatsi and Amo had the same amount of smoke inhalation, but he was inhaling the smoke, but she's the one who needed an oxygen tank. He didn't faint, nothing happened. So they managed to make it out, but now somebody comes out in a body bag. There are 3 people missing in this scenario: Tepo, Lesedi, and Tukulu. We did not see Lesedi, and nobody cared to ask about Lesedi. When Mahlatsi was out, he was looking for TK. He was like, where is Tukulu? Everybody was looking for him, and Sifako was looking for Tepo, but nobody was checking for Lesedi because nobody cared, I think. And we see this person come out in a body bag, and I'm thinking it's TK. I think it's Tukulu who's going to die because Lesedi dying doesn't really affect anybody. Tepo survives. He comes out of the ashes. We see him there. Everybody's overjoyed. But the one person who hasn't been found is Tukulu, and nobody has mentioned that Lesedi is missing. So I'm going to assume, especially judging by Mahlatsi's facial reaction and that last scene, the way he looked after he looked at that dead body, that was TK. That wasn't a black jacket. That was a black t-shirt. I looked carefully. I rewinded that scene 5 times. But yo guys, that was the end of episode 3. Youngins season 1, episode 1 to 3. We are so back and we have a new storyline. And I was actually very, very worried because they caught the principal at the end of season 1. So I was like, what story are they going to come back with in season 2? Mahlatsi is the cause of the fire. And I want to see how this is going to play out. So it's going to be the bullying storyline and there's going to be the fire storyline. I can't wait to see how this is going to play out. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like this video, subscribe. Turn on that notification bell so that you are notified every single time I upload a new video. It really does help out with the algorithm, and I will see you guys in the next video.